And we're back at it again for another live one for all you Biconics YouTube fanatics out there. And welcome to the aptly named Table for Two Electric Boogaloo, your weekly dose of Impact Wrestling recap review and shenanigans galore. I am one of your two hosts, Mikey, and joined with me officially, I mean, this is technically the second time that he's done this, but I have my other table for two co-hosts, William. It is so nice to have you back again.
It's good to be back.
I love having you. So, we have an interesting episode of Impact to talk about because, so technically, this is the go home show before Victory Road, which at the time of this recording is airing currently right now. But we're gonna take the time to actually watch it but the review's coming this weekend, I promise. This was an interesting episode, and I'll start off with this. I love Impact Wrestling. I don't care what any of the other Biconics boys says. I will die defending it. But even I, as a diehard fan, do have my critiques of it. One of my biggest critiques is that once or twice every single year for their pay-per-views, Impact always ends up writing themselves into a corner because we have only about 2 weeks between pay-per-views. So 2 weeks ago, we had the Emergence pay-per-view, which was fantastic. Go check out our review if you want to see what our thoughts on the whole thing was. Me and Will thought it was really great.
Mm-hmm.
Sonata versus Jake something is a match y'all need to go see, seriously. Like, that match was
you will be
my
moist.
match of the night. It was so good, but
you will be moist afterwards.
Yes, you will need a towel and all sorts of stuff. But then, we come to find out that 2 weeks later, it's like, oh, we have another Impact. Those pay-per-view. I was like, really? We just had one. Like, what is happening, you guys? And like I said, Victory Road is currently airing tonight at the time that we're recording this. We will go over predictions and what we think. But this episode felt a little weird. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed a lot of this. It was more the backstage and promo segments that we got to kind of build up to either matches for tonight or setting up what's happening on Victory Road. It kind of felt all over the place a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it did. It's funny that you call it the go home episode because I was literally like, Impact, you need to go home because you're drunk. Because they were all over the place. It was like weaving, all like walking down the road, weaving left and right. I'm just like, what is happening right now? It's like, again, and I will agree, I loved the matches. It was, good Lord, it was all over the place. Like, mostly in the promo area, like Mikey said. And which just kind of threw it off. It was weird. I don't know. I was messaging Mikey during the whole thing when I was watching it. There was something just felt off. And as a whole, like, production, not the match. Like I said, the matches were pretty good. Some better than others. There were some great moments, but all of the backstage promo stuff was just weird. So yeah, I don't know. I'm with you. It just felt odd. Something.
Right. And we will be definitely getting into the show as a whole. So why don't we just jump straight into it? So this week of Impact Wrestling, I was really excited when they announced this last week that we were getting this match because I love both of these women. So we opened up this week of Impact with a knockouts division match, just a singles match. They're just gonna good old women's wrestling. We have Deonna Purrazzo taking on Dani Luna of Subculture. And I love immediately the first thing that Will messages me while this match is going on. It's like, oh my gosh, it's the knee brace. I'm like, I wanted to tell him, I was just like, if I told you how much the knee brace is, you would probably pass out because those things. And funny enough, I'm going to shout out my friend Uriel. Hey, Uriel. Hope you're watching this review. But I asked him because a lot of wrestlers recently have been wearing these knee braces, especially ones that have come back from injury. And I asked, how much does those thing cost? He's like, do you want to know? I'm like, yeah. Depending on the make and model and like how durable it is and what it's used for, depending on the injury that happened. Those things can range anywhere between like 5,000 to $10,000. I'm like, Lord have mercy. That is a couple months rent for me. I was like, what is all that?
Oh yeah, yeah. I knew they were. I knew they're expensive. I was just like, wow, knee brace. Okay, and it was more. My
So,
whole thing was more like, oh, knee brace. How I'm concerned for your knee.
I know. It's just like I know Danny had an injury towards the end of NXT UK before it shut its doors. And so, but I am happy to see that Danny is back into the wrestling ring. She's wearing the new, guard slash brace. I thought this was a pretty fun match. For me personally, I knew the foregone conclusion is that Deanna was going to get the win here because she has her match at Victory Road against Jordan Grace. So you do need Deanna picks up a victory here. But I really thought this was a fun match. This was a good opener. And I really love that this was a pretty good back and forth because I was expecting Deanna to overpower Danny for most of it, but it was pretty evenly matched. But of course, Deanna, with her multiple ways to submit and pin her opponent, she locks Danny up in a Fujiwara armbar and makes Danny tap. God, I love Deanna. Like, she has so many different ways to try to get her opponent to submit or to pin. And then Danny's great. That fall away slam into a running clothesline. I was like,
Yeah.
good lord, the woman. I love it.
Oh yeah. This was a good. This was a really good match. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a decent opener. It kind of. I liked. I agree with you. I think both of these women were evenly matched. I thought in the match felt that way. I didn't feel that it leaned one way or the other. More so, and I thought it might because I agree with you. I thought Deanna might. It might feel like a Deanna fight. Like it's like she's going to come in there and like whoop Danny's butt. But no, you're right. They held their own with each other, and I was very impressed. And I mean, yeah, and I know Deanna has all of these amazing submission moves and things, but I'm kind of like submissions. I mean, yeah, I get it, but I really want to see them pin. I want to see a pin. I don't want to see a submission. I mean, unless that fight's going and it is so evenly matched and it's long. If it was a longer match, then I would have been, and it was like multiple pin fails, then I would have been like, okay, go for a submission. Because if you can't get it pinned, submit, make them submit. But it was sort of like, because this is a short match, it was not long at all. And, it just happened. And I was just like, that was sort of a letdown for me on this match. I really wanted it. I wanted it to go a little longer because I think both of them had enough in them to go at least a few more minutes longer. Like maybe it made this like a 10, 15, no, about 10 minutes, maybe getting closer to 15, but it was like under 10, I think. It was really short. And I'll say it to the day I die, it's like give these women their due. Let them give you a show because they'll give you a show if you let them. But if you limit them to like 6 minutes, 7 minutes, they can't set anything up. They can't do anything in 7 minutes. You can't create showmanship in 7 minutes. You can wrestle a little bit and do some cool moves, which we did see in this match. There was several really really good moves, but then it was like, oh look, our time's up. We better do something. Okay, at least submit you, make you submit. And it's like, sort of let me down at the end, and I was bummed because I was excited, and then I was like, okay.
Yes, I will agree. I do wish that Danny and Deanna got more time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say I can see where you're coming from because I think since we're still feeling out Impact and everybody who's involved, normally, like, I'm used to this kind of match from Deanna in the sense that I know when she's given shorter matches, she usually pulls mostly from her submissions playbook, especially if it's going to be a short match. But what I do like is because she has so many things that she can work with, Deanna pulls out submissions and the different finishers for the pinfall attempt instead of a submissions. But I will say I think why Deanna's one of my favorites is, and I say this across the board for any company. I love when wrestlers are able to have multiple finishers or multiple methods to pick up a victory, but they pick and choose when they want to pull it out. So obviously, you want to see amazing things on the weekly television shows, but I think Deanna saves all her stuff for the cool spots for the pay-per-views because then it makes it feel more special. And I think that's what my biggest problem is with some of these other companies is that I see all these crazy antics happening on free for weekly television that when they start pulling them out of the pay-per-views, I'm like, I just saw you do this like literally a couple days ago. But I will agree. I think this is not one of my favorite Deanna matches, especially for a weekly television show. I do wish that they got more time. I will say though, I am glad that we started with a women's match because again, give the women their dues, but I do wish this went a little bit longer. And maybe and I know Deanna is saving all the stuff for Jordan at Victory Road, so but I do wish she pulled out something for this one a little bit.
Yeah, but if you think about that though, it's like, oh, here I'm going to save all my cool moves for the pay per view, and I'm like, well, but to me that says the rest of you are not important to see my cool moves. Because if it's a kick ass move, then I can watch you do it 1,000 times. I don't care if you reuse your moves. I don't care. What I care about is either if I'm on your side, is you winning. So you win however the hell you need to. I don't care if you use, these three signature moves every damn time we see you on television. I want you to win. And therefore, I want you to use your whole freaking toolbox. And so that's just me. And plus all the people that can't afford the pay per views. I mean, so we don't get to see Deanna's kick ass moves because she's going to save them for the pay per view. See, that to me is, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be Joe Common Man here, and I want to see those moves, and I can't dish out money for pay per views all the dang time. I'm a teacher for crying out loud. It's like, and so I don't know. That's just me, I guess. If you got the moves, let's use them. Don't wait for the paying customers because that's annoying. And that's annoying.
No, I could see that. And
Don't get me wrong. I love me some Dion. I'm not saying
yes.
that isn't, but
And I
come
will
on.
say I know I'm spoiled because I've seen the last 2 years I've seen all this stuff and then of course I watch all the Impact pay-per-views. So I'm spoiled with being able to see Deanna, but I will agree. I do wish that Deanna pulled something for this particular match. I still thought it was fun, but I can definitely see where you're
Yeah,
coming from and I tend to agree at because I know Deanna can go harder than this and I was just like, "Oh, okay." I think what makes it hard is because again, you're trying to keep Deanna away from Jordan until the pay per view. And I mean, Jordan's been gone for the whole summer because she took some time off to go do some bodybuilding competitions and just recuperate. Because Lord have mercy, she had the feud with Masha Slamovich for a couple months, and that was brutal as hell. They decimated each other. It was great, but I mean, I'm excited. I can't wait to see Deanna to see what she pulls out against Jordan and vice versa, Jordan against Deanna, because these girls have a rivalry for the ages, and I'm excited for this. We jump from this match into probably listen. I love me some creepy shenanigans in my wrestling. So, really quickly, we get this kind of vignette of Crazy Steve. Yes, that is his name. Crazy Steve vows to decimate the unholy alliance that was once him and Black Taurus. What I love with this version of Crazy Steve is he kind of, because Decay has been this long running faction in Impact even since this was called TNA back in the day during like the 2000s and so. And then this is a reinvention of Crazy Steve's character, how he feels betrayed. Black Taurus, Jessica, Courtney Rush, like all of them were a part of the Decay faction, and then they've all gone their separate ways. We have Courtney and Jessica formed the Death Dolls. I still love that name.
I love the Death Dolls. I love them so much.
And so Crazy Steve is like, I'm gonna show you crazy, and he's gonna take it out on Black Taurus in their match tonight. I was like, listen, That mask is so creepy, but I'm kind of here for it.
Yeah. So I have a question. So I've heard it
Yes.
pronounced multiple ways now. So how do you pronounce it? Is it Taurus, Taurus, or Taurus?
Yes.
Because,
um
because I mean, later on, the announcer says the name and he says
they can't pick,
Taurus.
yeah, they can't pick it. They can't seem to agree on anything.
Okay.
I say Black Taurus just because that's the way I mostly hear it on Impact.
Okay.
And so, I mean, but
Because I was like Black Taurus. Ooh, that's cool. Then I heard Taurus, and I was like, what?
I know I was just like, nobody can seem to agree on
Like,
anything.
do we not
But
have a hold of the English language?
I mean, does anyone really?
No, not really.
Honestly,
Not really.
nobody. The English is a weird
Yeah,
language.
it
Like,
is. It is. But yeah, I don't mean to. I didn't mean to derail us. I was just curious because it was like I heard it three different ways, and I was like, what's the pronunciation for it?
I know when you told me the three, I was just like, yes.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I will say that this was a really creepy, cool promo, and all I got from this was like two Batman villains.
Oh my god! Thank you, because I thought the same thing. I was
Yeah,
like, listen, you are giving me Two-Face and Joker,
yeah.
all wrapped up into one Crazy Steve. I mean, it's in his name. His name is Crazy Steve, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, it felt like two Batman villains were about to go at each other. Which
Why so
that's cool,
serious?
but it was such a weird promo, and that was the first weird one of the evening.
Yeah, this one was interesting, but I love this reinvention for Crazies. And it's
Uh-huh.
okay. So I find this direction weird because, like, the last 3 weeks on Impact, like, we had these like heart to heart interviews with Crazy Steve and one of the commentators at this backstage thing. I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna like Crazy Steve is getting heartfelt. And then literally the next week, this is the direction we're heading. I'm like, damn. I was like, that changed fast. I'm here for it, but I was like, damn, you pulled the rug out from under me, Impact, but I'm kind of here for it. But
Yeah,
this is not the last of Crazy Steve. We will see tonight, and we'll talk about him a little bit later in the show. But then the weird promos kept happening because, listen, okay. So let me get on my soapbox real quick. So we get this weird promo from Tommy Dreamer. Listen,
oh,
Tommy Dreamer is a legend in the wrestling business. And, he definitely has found a home in Impact. He works backstage. He helps out with the talent. So I will admit, Tommy Dreamer has been on my shit list for like the last year and a half, 2 years, because, when that Dark Side of the Ring documentary of the Flight from Hell came out, that talked about the flight from, I think, Saudi Arabia back to the United States, and it had Tommy Dreamer, Ric Flair, like the old school guys, and how there was almost a fight on there. There was some misconduct of the spicy kind that happened. And then Tommy Dreamer made some comments that when it came out that kind of put him on my shit list. I was like, sir, we do not talk about these kinds of things. I'm not saying what they were exactly because we're going to get demonetized. I'll tell you all the details afterwards. But let's just say Tommy Dreamer hasn't been like my favorite person, but he's slowly been working his way. He's been doing the reprimands and things like that. I felt for Tommy because last month he lost his mother. So he took some time off from television, and so he's been dealing with that. But sir, if you're gonna bring up your mom in this promo, like it was okay, I'm not a theater person, but the way he was delivering this promo and just like from a writer's standpoint, like a script wise, like the points we were going to her, like we're all over the place. And I was like, sir, are we crying on national television? And I'm not gonna lie, I was just like, Tommy, you had me for like the first 30 seconds, and then it went off the rails, and then we jumped the shark a little bit. And I kid you not, thank God that Heath Slater kind of saved this promo.
Lord have mercy. I think the message I sent to Mikey was, "Are you crying? There's no crying in wrestling." Like,
I'm imagining Tom Hanks's
yes,
voice from A League of Their Own is
exactly.
like, are you crying? There's no
crying
crying
in baseball.
I love that.
I mean,
I
it
love
was
that
like
movie.
it was going. Yeah, you're right. At first, it was like, okay, he's passionate, and it was like, okay, I'm feeling the passion, and then, yeah, then he started getting into the out zone, and then it was like the crocodile tears, and and my sympathies to him for losing his mother because I understand that pain. But this wasn't the place for it. I mean, I just feel that with him doing that, talking about his mom's passing, it cheapens it. And I'm sure that's not what he meant to do, but I felt, because I mean, I would never, when my mother passed away, I would never have like, oh, here, let me tell you my mother's death story. Just get sympathy because it's too painful. I don't want to. I don't want to live there. I don't want to go there. I could, if I started talking about it now, it would take me to a place I don't want to go. And I was just like, to me, this just felt fake, and it kind of pissed me off a little bit. And I was just like, dude, don't do this. Is not, and I was literally like, this is not the place for this. This is not the place for this. And
No.
yeah, and then he came in. And I was like, oh, thank God, because I didn't know where he was going.
Literally, Heath saved Tommy Dreamer's promo because he brought it back. So here's the thing. So again, I feel for Tommy Dreamer losing a parent. I think, count my blessings. I still have both of mine right now. And I can't even imagine like how painful that is. And I know it's eventually going to happen, but I count my blessings that both my parents are still here. That being said, though, Tommy, we know that this match against Kenny King for the Digital Media Championship is title versus career. Like we've known this for the last 2 weeks. For me personally, I think for this promo would have been more believable had he focused on that aspect instead of talking about his mom and crying about it. I would love for him to just go through his list of like, I have had a long career. I have done so many things. I have wrestled many people, some who are still with us, some who aren't. And my career means everything. But I am here to prove a point, and I'm willing to risk it all for that title opportunity. Kenny, you talk about how you're the hottest commodity right now, and I might be past my prime. Like if he headed in that direction where he just focused on the career aspect and how he's not afraid to put up his career for a chance to take that title off of this young kid who has no respect for the wrestling business, like I'm here for it. But Tommy Dreamer was all over the place, and it wasn't until Heath Slater came in to kind of focus him in a little bit that kind of was like, say the promo. Hey, Heath Slater, how we doing? I loves Heath, man. He's one of my favorite peoples in Impact Wrestling. And of course, listen. I always say this on my reviews. I'm like, the Southern twang is strong in this one. Oh, Heath, I love you. But yeah, this was a weird promo. I'm just like, I don't know what we're doing with this one, Tommy. We'll talk about you later, sir, because I also feel that this kind of like in a weird way, I was just like, oh, Tommy, you're winning at Victory Road, aren't you? Oh, you telegraphed this to me. Oh, I'm kind of disappointed. I was like, you overdid it, which makes me think you're probably going to win because I don't foresee you losing your career anytime soon. Oh, man.
Yeah, yeah. This was a weird promo. It was just weird, and I thought it couldn't get any weirder. And literally, Impact was like, hold my beer.
We'll talk about the weirder moments later, but listen, after a little underwhelming knockouts match and then this weird ass promo, we get the first palate cleanser of the night. Can I get a Joya? Listen, we both expressed how much we love the goofiness that is Joya in our emergence review. And the fact that we're still finding ways to amp this up. And I was just like, listen, As a disclaimer, I want you to know that Table for Two is hosted by a bisexual and a gay man. So when we talk about camp and all the things that are about to happen tonight, we're just forewarned. So as they're doing their entrance, and again, for some reason, this match in particular had me thinking, how much more homoerotic can we make this?
Oh yeah, I was also thinking, how gayer can we get? And boy, did we ever! This is, and I would literally, the minute their names came on, the first note I wrote is hell yes, Joya. I freaking love these guys. One, they are campy as hell, and they own it, and this is why I like them, because to me, even though to me it doesn't feel like an act, it literally they're like, this is who we are, and we're proud of it, and it's super fun, and they're totally into it. They are just they buy into their own hype, and I love it. And the theme song is super catchy, and it's like, you find yourself like humming it, and things like that. And it is just one of those things that they sold me. I am Team Joya, not gonna lie. Plus, the second thing is they're both mighty tasty looking.
Listen, Yuya Uemura and especially Joe Hendry. Listen, I mean,
Whew, they could fill out a pair of shorts.
I was like, Yuya and and Joe don't, like you said, they know how to fill out a pair of shorts.
Yeah,
Especially you, Joe Hendry. And I always said, I was just like, I can't put my finger quite on it, but I was just like, you know what? Yes.
I would like to put my finger on
All over him.
it. I'm telling you.
And I've seen Joe Hendry the last year or so in Impact, so I shouldn't be surprised, but I keep surprised. Like, he's this goofy character, like doesn't take himself seriously for the entrance and even for part of the match. But then when he pulls out the strongman moves and is just like, I forget how strong you are, Joe Hendry. Like,
yeah,
especially when you are going up against Champagne Singh and Shira. These are two big men also.
they are.
Listen, especially Shira, I was like, Lord have mercy. I forgot how big you are, Shira.
Ooh. That's the
Yes.
Indian lion, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my god. My god. He is yummy. He was yummy.
I was just like, those are some two big men.
Yep, they are.
And listen, move of this match for me, like I said, I love Joe Hendry's power moves. The delayed vertical suplex when he held Shira up there before, But what made it even better is that Yuya joined him and holding him up and then bringing him down to hit their tag team finisher move, which I've come to find is called the one hit wonder. I was like, yes.
I was there for it. Yeah, I was so happy. I was like, yay, Joya won. Because I want them to win every time now because I love them both. And
I think eventually we're going to get them in the tag team championship picture at some point.
I hope so. But like you were saying, yeah, they're campy, they're fun, they're silly. Some people may even think they're stupid, whatever. But man, can they fight! They both are so good in the ring. I mean, and this is what's so great is they make a great team. That's the other thing, and I'm talking outside of the campiness. As a tag team, they are good. Like, they are supportive of each other. They are constantly there. I mean, which is, sometimes in these tag teams, there's sort of like two people who are just like, let's just team up because we hate these people. But like this, they legitimately are like good together and complement one another. And I was like, good fight. This was a great fight. And I was like, Joya's got good moves. Man, their moves were all over that ring.
And again, I said it during the emergency review. You already had my vote of me liking you as a tag team if you could turn a meme into your tag team Nate.
Yeah.
I was just like, how do you turn the "Can I get a Hoyant" meme into your team? And I was just like, they're going full throttle with it. It is
Yep,
silly, but I love silliness in my wrestling.
absolutely. And
And
the
again,
audience goes with
yep.
them too, which is so great.
Again, I love the Impact crowd because they're invested in everything. Like they are
Yeah.
great. They are so behind everything that happens, which is really, really hard to do in this day and age with so much competition.
And
But I love it.
I think thinking back to NXT reviews and the AEW one that we did, and thinking back, I think Impact's audience is the most interactive and then when I say interactive, I mean they are part of the story. Not just I'm yelling at people from a distance like AEW is. It's more like, oh, we're just here for wrestling. But like the Impact audience is like, we're here for you guys. Like we're your fans. It's like you can hear the boos and the hisses and the yays and then you can hear the joyas going on, and even during the match you would hear somebody off in the audience going joya. I mean, it was great, and I love the Impact audiences. I love them, and the good on for the cameraman too, because the cameraman knows how to hit those spots. You know, uh, getting those. Because you have those empty areas, and so whoever did the seating for this one, they got those front areas filled. So anytime a camera was going around, you saw people everywhere, and they were interactive, and because there was a match later on that we'll talk about. One of the wrestlers got thrown out onto one of the guardrails, and the fans were like, "Oh, you got this. You go, man. Yeah, you got this." And they're like patting them, and it's like, yeah, you got it. It's like, I love that. I love that. And I was like, what a great audience this Impact audience is.
I love it. And what we'll talk about it later in that spot, but I was like, the Impact Wrestling audience is also very respectful when wrestlers get up and close to that front
Mm-hmm.
barricade too. There's like they do the little pats, but then they don't do anything
Yeah,
more. It's not creepy. Like it's
yeah. Like
crazy.
I
It's
really
great.
shouldn't. Unlike me, I'd be like, "Ooh, let me help you."
I'd be pulling you back in your chair like, no, 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 no.
Here,
Later, no, no.
come sit on Daddy's lap.
uh hey. I mean, we can talk about that later. Okay, so this is where we're gonna this is gonna be interesting because I have some thoughts, you have some thoughts. So after Joya picks up the victory, we go backstage, and this is where you get your first real introduction to Steve Macklin. Okay, so I'm gonna let you go first. So Macklin and Macklin and Bully Ray kind of simultaneously do the promos together. Again, it was weird because they're worried about two different things, and one of them is like ready to fight Josh. The other is like looking over his shoulder because he's afraid that PCO is going to pop out like the boogeyman and go boo. But let's start with the character of Steve Macklin before we dive too much into this promos. So this was your real first introduction to Steve. So take the floor. I'm interested.
So, all right. I don't like this character, which is probably what I'm supposed to not like them. But he's just so. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Bully Ray either. Neither of these guys. I don't like either of them. But Macklin just seems dirty. And what I mean by dirty is like he's a dirty dealer. Like he doesn't do, I feel like he doesn't do things on the up and up. I feel like he's like, the razor blades and the boxing gloves type of guy. And I'm like, one, his brow is way too big. So all I think is like Neanderthal. And then when he comes into the ring, well, we'll talk about it later, but there's that moment when he comes into the ring and I'm just sort of like, I hate you so much. And I don't really know why. I don't really know why I don't like the guy. I think it's because when he came in there, maybe that's what it is. Because it's like in the promo, he comes in there and he's all like, hey man, you need to focus, blah, blah, blah. And then he's all like a douche nugget. Like, every other time, and I'm like, what are you? I mean, do you really care? Because I don't know. I think I just got conflicting character stuff from him. And maybe that's my issue. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know where I'm supposed to land with him yet. Um, I think, the whole thing between him and Bully Ray was stupid. It was just, I stupid's it's a harsh word. It's probably the wrong word because stupid comes later. Um, this one was like, I will give it to Bully Ray in the fact that he has still got that character going, that fear of PCO, which I love. I love the paranoia over the shoulders, things like, he's like, oh god, what was that noise? And then Macklin coming in and basically being like, dude, pull it together. And then Bully Ray's like, dude, you don't understand. You don't understand what he is. And then Macklin's like, whatever, basically. It's like, and I'm like, dude, don't come in here like brushing off other people's traumas.
Okay.
Screw you.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought this up because I can see that, but because I know the history between Steve and PCO, like in that aspect, I will give the only this much because the rest of this was really, really weird, and I'll talk about why I thought this was a weird promo. Macklin can say these things about PCO because before Macklin got injured, he beat PCO and he decimated him at shoot, what was the pay-per-view in May? Anyways, so Impact had a pay-per-view a couple months ago where Steve Macklin, at the time he was the Impact World Champion, he defeated PCO and defended the title, and he retained the title against PCO in a very gruesome no disqualification match. Listen, Steve Macklin got busted open by a cookie sheet, and that was crazy. It was great. Honestly, that pay per view and that match is probably my contenders for top pay per view and top matches of the year, but that's neither here nor there. So if Macklin leaned with that and he worded some form of iteration, I don't fear PCO because X, Y, and Z, then I was like, okay, this made sense. But the direction that they headed with this promo, the reason I found this weird is because, again, I feel like this was the tale of three promos, if I'm being completely honest. Macklin was talking to Josh, like in a promo, because they're going to face each other at Victory Road, which I'm excited for that match. But, him and Bully Ray are teaming up to face PCO and Josh in the main event tonight. So I was like, okay, cool. Bully Ray interrupting was kind of weird enough, but Bully Ray kind of convoluted the promo because he's being paranoid. Normally, I'm okay with wrestlers being paranoid, especially when they go up against like the monster/spooky wrestler characters. But then the third type of promo we got was and I hated this one, is that the Can They Coexist like tag team for the night in this main event because Bully Ray's paranoid. Macklin's like, bro, get over yourself. Bully Ray literally is like, you have no idea how I feel, man. And Macklin's like, bro, he didn't even, if he had mentioned, dude, yes, I do. And I beat PCO. So what's your problem? Like, he is not the monster you think he really is. Had they went that direction, I was like, okay, this makes sense. But it got convoluted and it turned into the Can They Coexist tag team. And I hate that trope more than anything in professional wrestling. I hate the Can They Coexist tag team, especially if it just comes out of nowhere. I'm like, y'all have been on the same page for the last month, 2 months or so. And now all of a sudden you don't trust each other. I'm like, get out of here with that. I'm like, listen, I could suspend my disbelief when we have crazy Steve over here who looks like he's about to eat my face off. But even this is too much for me to suspend my disbelief. I was like, this is too quick of a page turner. Y'all can't be not on the same page all of a sudden. Y'all were on the same page last month or two. I was like, nah, I can't. This one was weird.
Yeah, it was. Weird is one word for it. I just was like, I was all over the place. Again, like all of them have been, all over the damn place. So I don't know what I was supposed to get from that promo. I mean, I know what I got, but I don't think that was what I was supposed to get.
It wasn't focused, and I think that's why this promo was weird. Again, because me personally, I feel like there were too many promos going to talking about too many different things, and like building towards Victory Road, building up to the event for tonight. Then the distrust between Macklin and Bully Ray, I was just like, this is a lot even for me. And
It just was.
it was weird.
It was. I literally was just like, what was I supposed to get from that? Like, I don't. I don't know. I literally like what was it? What was the message that they were trying to relay to us? Because I don't know, other than Bully Ray is pissing himself because of POC or PCO, and Macklin's all, oh, I can take on the world and destroy everybody, except for Josh Alexander apparently, and so I was like, what? And what do you that you guys are going to be a disruptive tag team? Is that what I'm supposed to get from this? Because I don't know. I literally am just like, what is the point of this promo? Because and I don't know. I just and that I hate feeling stupid, and that promo made me feel stupid.
Yeah, I mean, again, we kind of talked ad nausea about it, but this was not. This could have been done better, and I know, especially Macklin. Now, character wise, I've always felt a little like hit or miss with this character. His in ring ability is awesome. He puts on banger of matches. Like his in ring talent is awesome. Though it's been an acquired taste, so to speak, for me for his character, because his character is his go-to tagline is "bag 'em and tag 'em," because he like is a former Marine, and listen. I will say, as an acquired taste as this character has been, I am happy that this is better than what his character was in WWE when he was part of the Forgotten Sons faction in WWE, because that was, child, let me tell you, if WWE we know has a history of problematic things happening with wrestlers, and this was problematic because like they were trying to emulate Sons of Anarchy, but it was like super problematic that it almost leaned on like far right territory. I was like, no, ma'am, we're not. So again, I will take the Bag'em and Dag'em Steve Macklin versus Forgotten Son Steve Macklin, but this one has been an acquired taste. And I know his in-ring ability is great, and when it's the promos that he does by himself, great, fantastic. I just hated this one. I hated it. And but then you compare this to what we got next, and I was like, see, this is why I prefer Josh Alexander's promo. It was
Yeah.
short to the point. So,
Yep.
here we have Gia, who is backstage interviewing Josh Alexander, asking him about what's going to happen in the main event, like his thoughts, teaming up with PCO. And Josh kept it really simple. He says, you know what? Me and PCO are teaming up tonight. We're going to bring the violence. We're going to bring the mayhem to Bully Ray and Steve Macklin tonight. And that was the extent of the promo. I was like, perfect, right there. That's all I needed.
That's it. Keep it simple. See, and I think this is where I think Impact does not do well. Unlike when we also review NXT. NXT does backstage promos very well. Because it's like Impact tries to do dramatic stuff and it doesn't work. Because that whole thing between Macklin and Bully Ray, but also with earlier Tommy and Heath, they're trying to be all dramatic. And it's like these characters that you have on Impact, that's not who they are. Why are you making them do that? Don't let them be who they are. That's why I like Josh Alexander's, because it's like he comes in there and he was like, this is I'm telling you, like Josh Alexander would tell you. Boom. He wasn't dramatic. Was very like, let me tell you how to do it. And that's how you do a promo. I mean, if you want to do it, if you're going to do promos, do them like that. Stop with the drama because like the dramatics, not the drama, because we love the drama, but the dramatics. It's like you're not good at it. Don't do it. If you're not good at it, stop. Just stop. Just be mean wrestlers being mean to each other. Be done. Like, you and me, man, I'll see you tomorrow. Walk off. It's like, I don't need to hear your life story. You know, it's like DC. You know, all they can do is tell Batman's origin story, and every damn story they tell of him. I was like, we know how Batman became Batman. Stop telling us that. And that's what's happening here, I feel, sometimes. It's like, here, let me tell you my trauma again. And I'm like, I don't need to know your trauma. I know it. Thank you.
I know.
I'm going to get off my soapbox now.
I appreciate you getting on your soapbox because I agree with you. This was not... Josh's promo was short, sweet, to the point, exactly what it needed to be. And then we get our second palate cleanser of the night because I thought this match ruled. Subculture versus Rich Swann and Sami Callihan. I love Subculture, Rich Swann, and Sami Callihan. I love the tag team as well. Sami Callihan holding it down for the big boys out here. Love that.
Yep.
This match also ruled. I immediately wrote down in my notes, like, when Rich Swann went to go do his kick, how loud that kick was. I was like, Jesus, I thought somebody broke a jaw or something. I was like, Lord have mercy.
It was so loud. I was like, whoa. A lot of the hits in this one were really loud. Like, really loud. I was like, God, these guys are beating each other. I was like, good Lord. But I love that launch across the ropes that Swann did.
Ooh, me too.
So good. That's one of the things I will say I love about Impact is they have that ramp that comes up to the ring level. And I love that the wrestlers can do things off of that ramp. And this was one of them. And then, man, he slung across that. I was like, holy hell, man. They were not playing. But Swann was getting his lunch eaten through that whole damn match, though. I felt so bad for him.
Ooh, I know. Again, Impact. Listen, when the matches were awesome, and up to this point, this was my match of the night. But then we'll get to the actual one that happened a little bit later because this was in contention for my match of the night.
Yeah.
Again, you have Subculture, who is representing your British style of wrestling. You know, Rich Swann is, I guess, what we call a cruiserweight, so he does all the high flying. But don't let Sami Callihan fool you, man. Even though he's a big boy, like he get down like that too. I love it so much. Rich Swann's 450 splash off the rope for the win is like, I'm like, beautiful. And you know, Rich Swann and Sami Callihan. I'll be honest, I'm kind of shocked they pick up this victory because Subculture, even though they lost the tag titles at Emergence, I feel that they're still in the top position. And then I think Sami and Rich have kind of jockeyed themselves to be the next ones in line for the tag titles. And you know what? I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I was a little shocked, actually. Because, I mean, you know, Subculture was they had some great moves. I mean, it was like watching dancers, and then of course they just pounded on Swann. Man, they pounded on him, and I thought, ooh, this is it. We're done. You know, but man, they came back out of nowhere. It was like I was like, wait, what just happened?
Seriously, I was like, what is happening, you guys? I'm like,
I had to pause it going, wait, I had to like rewind it to watch it again because I was just like, did that just happen? Did they win? I was like, because I was very shocked actually that they actually won because I thought for sure going into that match, you know, watching the very first part of the match, I was like, oh yeah, Subculture's got this, man. They got this, and then they did have it until they didn't.
Yeah, this match ruled.
Mhm.
And like I said, Rich and Sammy, I think they're next in line to challenge the Rascals for the titles, which we'll see them in a little bit because I'm like, I have questions, Rascals. Like that backstage segment was also weird, but we'll get into that. So after this match, we get a quick backstage like video package of the Shantaraj with Giselle Shaw, Savannah Evans, and and homegirl Jay Vidal. Jay is so sassy. I love him so much. Listen, normally I don't like the gay bestie trope, but when it's done right, girl, it is done right. And I love Jay. He's so extra. I love him so much. I love Jay so much. But ultimately, this serves literally Giselle is just like, we threw MK Ultra, your Whip Knockouts Tag Team Championships, over the top rope in the Battle Royal last week. So now we're gonna try to take their tag titles with them. I was like, okay, cool. So we'll talk about this, but this sets up MK Ultra versus Savannah Evans and Giselle Shaw for the Knockouts titles at Victory Road. But again, Jay Vidal stole the show. Love it.
Yep, it was something.
I think the match is gonna be again 2 weeks build. Like we got to get everything kind of like somewhat connected. And I was like, okay, sure. The match is gonna be fun. I think. Listen, I love Giselle. I love Savannah Evans, and of course, give me more Masha Slamovich and Killer Kelly, aka Team Kink.
Agreed.
Listen, I've already expressed this, so I'm gonna wait till the pay per view. I was like, listen, Masha and Killer, call me. You can do whatever you want. I was like, hit me harder. Um. Okay, so again, I mentioned during the subculture and Sammy Callahan, the Rich Swan match, that the Rascals, their promo was weird. This one was weird too. So listen, it starts off with the Rascals, cutting a promo, about the tag Impact Tag Team division for the men. Listen, good hands, like both of you are good looking, but like y'all need some acting classes because the delivery was not it, sis. It was not it.
My only note for that whole thing was I went Rascals in good hands. What the hell was that?
Like I understand what they were supposed to do, like the good hands are going to get involved
Oh, I get
and Victor,
that.
but I was just like, y'all went like a way roundabout way to do it. Like come on, like and I
Again,
blame the good hands for this cuz I think the Rascals were trying, but it's like that, it's like when you're, again, I don't claim to be the best when it comes to acting. I'm not a theater person, but I feel like I know the basics enough. It's like what the Rascals are pretty decent, and then they're scene partners, and you're trying the best to elevate the scene, but it's not clicking with the good hands, and it makes it awkward.
this promo was, again, what was I supposed to get from it? Because, I mean, I understand that it's the tag team champions, whatever. I get it. But what did you want me to take away from that? That what that they're gonna come for you, or they're gonna throw some shenanigans. It's like I I don't know where you wanted me to go with that.
And again, I know what they meant to do
I
because
know, me
the
too.
but still, like I agree with you wholeheartedly. I was just like, I know what I was supposed to get, but I didn't get that.
No.
Like, come on. I was like, listen, I picked up on the cues enough, and I've been watching wrestling enough where I can figure out like the tropes that we're going for and like the story beats that we're going with. But I'm just saying, there has to be a way that you kind of indirectly slap, but like directly at the same time. You got to spell it out for us and be like, because I know basically what this is ending up is that the Rascals are nervous because they're facing the Motor City Machine Guns for these tag titles, and Lord knows the Motor City Machine Guns are one of the best tag teams in the world, and that's not an opinion. That is a straight fact. They've been teaming for 25 plus years, and they have wrestled all over the world. So Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, Motor City Machine Guns, like an Impact tag team staple since the beginning days of this company. Like that's how long. And they've etched a name. And of course, the Rascals are like, bro, we're gonna need some help, like because the Rascals are the heels, and of course they are going to find a way to try to cheat to win. But this promo did not spell that out for me. I was like, this is not how we do this.
No, not at all. That's why I was like, what did you want me to take from that promo? Because I didn't take what I think you wanted me to take from it. And it was all over the damn place. And I'm just, yeah, I'm just, it's like,
Literally, this episode of Impact can be described as WTF and palate cleansers. The wrestling gods have spoke.
did you hear that?
Yes!
We got this crazy storm came out of nowhere.
The Impact gods are gonna smite me.
Something sounds like I saw lightning flashing. I'm like, what is happening right now? Yeah. Sorry. Anyway. Oh, God, it's so
The
loud.
Impact gods are not happy with our discussion.
I guess not. They're like, we take that.
But you know what? Well, hopefully they'll change their minds because
Yes.
this was palate cleanser number 3, and unequivocally, this is my match of the night.
This is mine too.
Lio Rush, your X Division champion, taking on Kevin Knight in a non-title match. So it's just a singles match. Listen, I have a playlist of wrestlers' theme songs when I exercise or if I'm doing homework and I need to be motivated. Kevin Knight's theme song is on there, and I'm just like, Kevin Knight. I love Kevin Knight. Lio Rush's attitude, because like we talked about in the Emergence pay-per-view, since coming to Impact, I felt like he's kind of had to tone it down a little bit. But my lord, during this match, I was like, that's the old Lio Rush that I know, that I've seen and I love. Like this very cocky, confident speedster of a wrestler. Listen, that opening sequence I had to replay because like that is some cruiserweight fast-paced action, and Lio and Kevin Knight freaking killed it. Just like the multiple jumps over each other. Lio Rush, like we don't see this in all the wrestlers, literally like going from rope to rope and then stopping himself and like quickly going into another direction. Listen, I love me some cruiserweight action, and I was like, that was a beautiful sequence.
Yeah. And it's funny because they talk about Kevin Knight, who I now lovingly refer to as K Knight. Sorry.
All right, wrestling gods. Calm down.
K Knight is one to appease the gods. K Knight is sexy AF. But they said he's a football player, and you could tell that his moves in the ring were very much football moves. And I was like, okay. I'm there because being a football player myself, or back in the day. Those I saw those moves, and I was like, okay, I can see where he's taking his football training and mixing it in with his wrestling, and I really liked it a lot. But this match was so good, and I love like I love Lio Rush running away like a little bitch. It was so funny. I knew going into this that Lio was going to win this match. I knew it. I was like, there's just no way that they're going to have him lose this match right before he has to actually defend his title. But man, it was like, bye Felicia. He was like out of there several times.
I know, but you know what? What I loved about this is that Kevin Knight like didn't let him. He's like, "Oh no, you don't," and then like grabbed him.
Braids.
It's like, pull the hair, girl. I was like, yes. Listen, that's what this is the Lio Rush that I know and love. Like, he's confident, he's cocky, but he's also he's like that little brother that you walked in breaking your favorite toy, and then you don't even say that you're mad. Your little brother just looks at you with the face and then runs because he's like, "Oh, I'm dead." And so, literally, that's. And like you said, I knew that Lio was going to win because he has his title defense at Victory Road. But He picks up the victory, but to add insult to injury, after the match, he takes Kevin Knight and he locks him in the hoverboard lock, which is Kushida's signature move, which then prompts Kushida to come out to help Knight, which makes Leo Rush run off. I was like, see, this is an effective way to tell me, be like, listen, we're getting Leo versus Kushida, which is going to be a baller match, I think.
Yep.
At Victory Road for the X Division titles. So insult to injury, of course, do your opponent's move on his friend or whatever. I love it. It is great. This was my match of the night for sure.
Yeah, and my move, my move of the night is in this match too. When K Knight took Leo off that top rope with his feet.
The leg scissor. Oh my gosh.
I was like, what just happened?
Yes.
Like, oh my God.
I got so excited. Whoop. I knocked my microphone. I was like, whoop.
Oh my
this
God.
match ruled. I loved it so much.
It was so good. I was like, this right here, wading through the muck that came before, this made it all worth it. This was such a good match.
Seriously. And I was riding this adrenaline high because I was thinking to myself, this is great. And we're almost at the main event. So I was like, if this could keep it up, like we could save this. And then we dipped right back into the mud because after this awesome match we got, this was by far the weirdest, the most disappointing. And I will say this was the worst moment of the night for me. We get this short, weird, like grindhouse 90s style of videography of Dirty Dango and Johnny Bravo, like giving this weird ass promo. And like it didn't add to anything that happened tonight or to Victory Road. The only thing that we got out of it kind of is that Dirty Dango doesn't like Jake something. And I was like, by the end of this, I'm like Maxine Waters. I'm here to reclaim my time. I'm never going to get it back. And now, more than anything, I just need Jake to destroy Dirty Dango and Johnny Bravo. Like, that is what we need.
Yeah.
I was like, I really hated this, Will. Normally, like, I try to be optimistic in wrestling, but you know what? This was dog shit. I'm sorry. This was garbage, mama. I was like, I'm not here for this.
I told you. I was like, I texted Mike and went, who are these two dipsticks? I mean, it was literally, I didn't know who they were. And I'll be upfront about it, transparent. I didn't know who they were. And he's like, oh, that's, Dango and Johnny Bravo. And I was like, they are dipsticks. They need to, this is the stupidest promo out of the night. This is where I was like, this is pure stupid. I mean, you got nothing from it. It didn't give you anything for Victory Road. It didn't give you anything for what was happening in the current. It didn't even give you anything from the past. It gave you nothing. It's like they told these two idiots to go outside and just talk. And that's what they did. Because it sounded like the guy was just like talking like off the top of his head. And I was like, what? And then they mentioned Jake, and it was like, what? I was like, get this garbage off my television. I was literally like, someone needs to take this trash out because this was trash. Pure and simple. Yeah, we came off of that amazing match, and then we get stuck in the mud with these two idiots just outside. It's like they didn't even know where they were. They're like, "Is that the ocean or a lake or what is that behind us?" And I'm like, "I hate you already. I hate you." I'm just like, and then they just kept going. And it kept going, and it kept going, and it kept going. And I was just like, surely there's going to be a point here soon. And nope, no point ever came. Then suddenly they mentioned Jake something, and then it ended. And I literally was like, it was time I will never get back. Never get back. I literally felt like myself growing old during that promo. It was so
again.
bad.
while I was watching this, like the SpongeBob interlude played in my head, like in the cartoon. It's
Yeah,
like 2 hours
that was
later. Can we
amazing.
hurry this up? I'm running out of time cards.
Yeah, exactly.
I listen. I try to like be optimistic and
You
like
do. And God
try,
bless you for
see the silver lining because professional wrestling is already toxic enough, and so I was like, I'm trying to breathe the fresh air. But oh my god, Will,
that. Yes.
this was the worst thing tonight. And honestly, I mean, and I still have one more wrestling show to go tomorrow for the weekly reviews, but I will say this is the worst thing I've seen all week. This was
Yeah.
garbage.
And God bless you for trying to be, diplomatic. But there was no there wasn't toxic. It wasn't anything. I mean, literally wasn't anything. It was like there was no point. There
Nothing
was
from Emergence, nothing from the last week of 2
nothing.
TV shows, nothing about teasing something for Victory Road, or even potentially down the line. You just name drop Jake, and I'm like, listen, if we get Jake more on my television
That's
screen,
fine. I'm good with that.
I'm
Yeah.
not upset.
No,
But this did not serve a purpose.
no, it didn't. I mean, I would have been like okay if it had been toxic, because there was literally nothing, nothing. Audience and listeners, I kid you not, nothing.
I have my morning oatmeal has more flavor than what this
Yes,
was.
air has more flavor than this. I mean, it was. I could go on all night until I can tell you how absolutely shitty it was and pointless.
I
But
know. I
we
don't want
got
to spend. Yeah, I
we
don't want
got
to
better
spend.
things to talk about.
Exactly. I was like, we said our piece. Jake something. I'm excited for you to like destroy Dango and Johnny Bravo. That is all I care about now at this point. I am never going to get this time back, and I am upset about it. And then what made me less upset though is right after this, we get another small video package. I'm like, Jordan Grace, listen, girl, you can do whatever you want with
Yeah,
me and your muscles. Like, honestly,
yeah, that was a good one.
I really love this video package. It
Yeah,
was short, sweet, to the
to
point,
the
but it was
point.
nicely done. Like
Yes.
Jordan Grace, like the camera shot just showing her facing forward. I'm like, thank you. I will take anything at this point to make it better because I need you. I need this to be better.
I will say one of the funny things about that little video packet is when she took the picture and ripped it up.
Mm-hmm.
There seemed to be more pieces on the ground than the picture
Right?
would have had. I was like,
I was like, ooh, somebody, the camera person failed.
okay, props.
Props department, you're fired.
You're fired.
But
It was a good
this was a nice little palate cleanser of what we got. And then shit went crazy
Oh my
in the
god!
next. Okay, I'm gonna be honest right here, right? So last week when I saw that Alicia Edwards, won the battle royale, I was just like, oh, okay, this is gonna be a one-off. Trinity is gonna like again, at first I was like, oh, okay, this is a filler match until we can start the build for Bound for Glory and get Trinity like an actual feud going into that pay-per-view. When I tell you, Will, by the end of this segment, I was like, I went from, oh, this is a filler match. It's like, damn, now this is a must-see match. Like, shit got real. So, okay, so let's break this down a little bit.
Oh my
So,
god!
first of all, Trinity's entrance, one of my favorites. Like the black light, her theme music slaps. She's just so much fun.
She is.
And to see her kind of be happier, from where she was when she left WWE with her and Sasha Banks after the women's division wasn't being treated right. And then, going to Impact, and now she's holding singles gold, which she didn't really get to do in WWE that often. I love seeing her. She's doing great. Now, when I tell you, she comes down and then Alicia comes down, they sit at the table. Alicia went off. I was like, she ran through everything she's done.
Oh my god.
She without dropping names, she ran through be like, my husband's here. Your husband can't even come in your corner. Because like alluding, so Trinity is married to Jimmy Uso in WWE. So one of the Usos, they're actually married, like they're a couple and everything. And then she kept taking pop shots at Trinity. I was just like, ooh.
Yeah, she did.
I was like, this shit is crazy. And then just when I thought Alicia is kind of killing it right now and she's dragging Trinity through the mud a little bit, then it takes a turn for the nasty because who gets on the mic next, Will? Alicia's husband, Eddie Edwards.
Oh my God. That guy. Oh, and then Alicia was also going after the guy who was the commentator. Like, she was like trashing him, talking about, oh, I don't know what you're saying because you get your freaking accent. And then she went off on the Canadians. And I was just like, anybody else you want to offend while you're sitting up on this ring in Canada, bitch?
She lost her mind, and I'm kind of here for it.
Oh yeah, it was great. Oh no, this encounter was fan freaking tastic. But then Eddie gets on the mic and is all like, whoa, 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 whoa. Don't you come waving the Impact banner at us. We've been, okay, they said power couple, and it made me throw up in my mouth a little bit. And that they've been there basically since God. And I'm just like, and I was like, shut up. This is not even your match, dude. Keep boys, go to your corners. Seriously. And I was just thinking, Alicia, you need to put him on a leash. He needs to put a gag in his mouth because he needs to shut the fuck up.
And I was just like, they did the job correctly because I was like, Eddie, I hate you, but you know what? That's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Lest we forget, at Emergence, he literally, like, him and Alicia literally committed like assault and possibly manslaughter on Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll talk about Frankie in a little bit because you know Frankie was kind of MVP at the end of this too. But anyways, so yeah, like you said, Eddie Edwards interjects and states that him and Alicia have been telling Trinity not to fly the Impact banner because these two have been here the longest and that Trinity hasn't earned this right. And then Trinity has the comeback that the internet wrestling community has stated. She reminds Eddie that he turned his back on the company when he was the leader of the Honor No More faction, like at the beginning of this year and towards the tail end of 2022. And, you know, then from there, shit gets nuts. Alicia throws champagne in Trinity's face. Trinity hits Alicia with a roundhouse kick, and listen, that brawl, like Trinity got some punches in, but then when Alicia flipped over and it was her turn to do like the scene punching, Homegirl was going stiff with those shots. I was like, damn.
Oh my God, yeah. Oof.
This is the most intense. Outside of her match against Su Yung, like back in the 2010s for the Knockouts Championship, never have I seen Alicia this like violent, so to speak. And it's a nice change of pace, but those were some stiff shots. And then the moment that made this the best segment for me of the entire night, Trinity is ready to throw Alicia through the table. But then, listen, normally I like it has to be done correctly, but I love it when men and women just fight each other. It's like gender boundaries are not a thing because Eddie blindsides her and then picks Trinity up and throws her into like through the table with a blue thunder bomb. And this is like, yes, I am here for table spots. And me and Will are talking about this off camera. Will brought up, he's just like, if Eddie does not go through a table by Trinity at some point, then I'm gonna be upset. And I'm here, and I agree with you. I was like, now I need to see Trinity put Eddie through a table in some capacity.
Exactly. She needs to do a how does it taste, bitch. That's what she needs to do to this guy. And I am here for it because, you know, you can't, I'm sorry, but you can't have Eddie put Trinity through a table and her not get something in return. Something has to happen. And I think we're going to see it. I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen in Victory Road. I think something's going to happen. And I think Eddie is going to find himself on the ass end of a table somewhere. And I am here for it because especially if Trinity does it. I am, or a chair or something. She needs to do something to this douchebag. And, you know, and I know that we're supposed to hate him, and I do. And her too. I can't stand her either. Like the characters are wonderful. Um, but yeah, when he picked her up and put her through that table, I literally stood up and was like, "Oh hell no! Oh hell to the no!" I was like, "Somebody's getting some retribution because if they don't, I will. I will go down there and I will say, listen here, Eddie. It's like you don't put my girl through a table like that. You know, blindsided her like that. That was some bullshit. It was some bullshit. Oh my god, I was so mad.
Yes,
But I'm so excited as well.
me too. And then to kind of put the cherry on top of this as well, like as soon as that happens, Frankie Kazarian comes out and chases off Eddie and Alicia and is kind of like helping Trinity up. And I was just like, this was the best segment. This turn for me personally, this turned to, oh, this is gonna be a filler match, which it kind of still is. But now I was like, damn, now I'm kind of here for this match because I was like, I want to see
Yeah.
Eddie through a table.
This
If
match
this
has a potential to be amazing.
God, I'm here for it. And this was my favorite segment of the night. This
Yep.
contract signing that turned into a brawl and Trinity going through the table by Eddie. Like,
And can I just say, when Frankie comes in there, to help Trinity, can we just take a moment, and revel in the fact that Alicia and Eddie ran like little bitches.
exactly, because they're the heels, and I love that.
They beat Frankie, which was basically assault. It's like in that one promo. And then he jumps up in that ring, and they're like, "Oh no, run away, because he's gonna kick our butts! Oh no!"
It's like,
I'm
oh my
yeah.
gosh, there's consequences to our actions.
Yeah, and here it comes. And then they ran away. Literally, it was so funny. They're like, "Oh shit!" They like ran out of there, and I'm like, "What, guys? You put you put Trinity through a table. Can't you put Frank through a table too? Come on, guys, put your money where your mouth is, you bitches."
So I'm super pumped for this Knockouts Championship match at Victory Road now. Like, I'm really, really excited. And then as soon as this was over, then we get into like the home stretch where we get the bumpers, which, tell us what's going to be happening next week. So we get to, again, throughout the night, we're told that this is the 999th episode because next Thursday is going to be the 1000th episode of Impact, which I'm excited for. But it was like, commentators, we need to dial back. You don't need to keep telling us that it's the 999th episode. We get it. Like, I'm trying to get through this pay-per-view first, and then we'll worry about the 1000th episode next week. So they run down like everything that we have so far for the 1000th episode, and then they run down the card for Victory Road, which we will talk about at the end of our review, since we're going to be reviewing it this weekend. So from here, we get a quick message from the Motor City Machine Guns, like calling out the Rascals. And, they're looking to be tag team champions for the 4th time in the company's history. Again, they are such dorks and dad dorks, and I'm here for it. I love Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley.
I like both of them too, but man, these guys are so vanilla.
They can be, but
this in this promo, they were so
yeah,
vanilla.
this was not their best promo. Like, I know they can do better, but I'm excited because their in-ring work is fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've seen them both in ring, and I agree with you absolutely. But this
promo is very vanilla. I totally agree with you.
It just kind of goes with the theme of the night, I think.
Honestly, this was the least egregious promo that we got tonight, if I'm being honest.
We actually got something out of this one. It was just
exactly.
It was just boring. But
it was boring, but at least we got something. Exactly.
Finally, it was like finally a promo that I actually can walk away from going, oh, okay.
I look at my clock. I'm like, it took us 75% to get to a promo that actually did what it was supposed to. I'm like, okay, I'll take it.
Sure. At least I got something.
And then we get to the main event. So Josh Alexander and PCO versus Bully Ray and Steve Macklin. Okay. So I never knew I wanted Josh Alexander and PCO to team up. And then when I got this match, I was just like, I kind of like it. Listen, PCO is wild out here, man. Like this man is like getting to his 60s and he's still out here fighting
Oh
like
yeah,
this. I'm just like, bro, PCO is great. I love this.
I liked this. I liked their teaming up as well. They worked really well together.
Which I
Like
was surprised. I
me
was just like,
too.
I was like, you know what? Y'all have some good chemistry.
You know what's so funny about this match? And I will say this was not my favorite match of the night, but one of the things I liked about this match is that Josh and PCO worked very well together. Like they had a common focus. Macklin and Bully Ray did not. They were almost working in opposition of one another. And I don't know if that's what we were supposed to have gotten from that promo they did, which I'm assuming it is, but I was just like, it bugged me. And like I said, this was not my favorite match. And honestly and truly, I think this was a shitty main event. I this match, it should have come before the contract signing thing that happened.
I
That
agree. I
contract
think
thing should have ended the night.
the contract signing should have been the quote unquote the main event or
Yes.
what we have before the show goes off the air this week.
Yes.
And I get it because, you know, Josh is like the Impact's like company man. Like he's the face of this current iteration of the company right now. So I get why you put I at least understand why you put Josh and PCO in the main event because these two, they were I agree with you. This was not my favorite match, and I kind of I'm gonna take it a step further. I kind of think Josh and PCO carried Bully and Steve through this
They
match,
did.
which is weird to say. Listen, Bully Ray's wrestling style, like I'm not expecting too much from it because he is an older wrestler. Like, you know, of course. I was disappointed because I'm like, I don't know if it's shaking off the ring rust because you know, Macklin has been injured for a little bit. And so, you know, when they come back from injury, you have a little bit of ring rust. So I was just like, but man, I was like, I'm kind of disappointed in you, Macklin. I know you can do better than this. And Josh and PCO carried this match,
They
and
did.
I was like, you know, it wasn't the most egregious thing I said, but I was like, I feel like this was my worst match, but in the sense that I was kind of disappointed. Not that there was anything inherently bad, like, but I was just like, I'm kind of
No,
disappointed
I agree.
because Josh and PCO for me carried this match, and I know Macklin can do better. And okay, so I have to say this. Normally, like again, I try to be fair when it comes to how matches end and things like that. But I'm over the Dick Kick City spot for the win. Like I was like, I hate the low blow spots or like when they get kicked in the nards.
Yeah, that was stupid. I was so pissed. I was like, and that's why I think part of my not being my favorite match is it was like, Josh and PCO were fighting their asses off, and they were doing great. Like you said, they did carry this match. They carried it. Macklin and Bully Ray, one, horrible tag team, but two, it was all about cheap blows. And I get it. You're the heels. I get it. But you know what? Yeah, like the dick hits all. I mean, come on. It was like watching bad comedy. It's like, when you can't get a laugh, punch him in the dick. And then everybody will laugh. And that's what it felt like. So when he like hit him in the nuts or whatever, it was like, and then that was the end. The ending, that was really, here you have this character, PCO, who is supposed to be this like monster who has no feelings, has no anything. And then I don't know if you've ever seen Monster Squad, the movie Monster Squad, when they were like, kick him in the nards. And they're like, oh, Wolfman
Yep.
has nards. I
Yep.
mean, that's what it felt like. And it's like, and then I was just like, but PCO, you're like this monster. And I mean, that's the vulnerable, that's what you use. I don't know. I just was so, I was so disillusioned with this match. And I was telling Mikey, I was like, why are they fighting before they're fighting in Victory Road? I was like, I don't understand that. It feels redundant to me. It's like, because now I feel like we're going to see the exact same match, but individually, And I'm just like, so yeah, I was just like, oh, okay. I mean, I was like, yay, Josh and PCO though. They were on fire, and I was loving it. But I was like, this match was so weird. It was just odd. And it ended the show, and I was like, it ended on a. And I was like, I literally wrote in my notes, like, this should not have ended the show. The Trinity Alicia thing should have ended the show, and that would have put a really cool like cliffhanger on.
Oh, absolutely. I think that contract signing should have ended the show because that was not only was it more entertaining,
God, it was so good.
not only was it more entertaining, but the fact that I was just like, you know what? Like, this is something that actually matters here. And that would have been a fun way to end it. It's like, oh snap, I think now y'all gotta come and tune into the pay-per-view in order to see like what's about to go down.
I agree.
But PC Macklin and Bully Ray, they win the match, and Impact goes off of the air for your go home show before Victory Road. I don't want to spend too much time. I feel like the reasons why I'm gonna give it the grade I am have been explained. I'm gonna give this a 5.5 out of 10 for me because as a go home show, this was not necessarily the best one. The matches were ranging from amazing to they were decent to okay, I guess that's fine. I think what brought it down were all the promos in between, and Dirty Dango's segment really brought the score down for me because it did absolutely nothing.
Mm-mm.
But that is why I give it a 5 out of 5. Matches were fine to great to amazing, but the promos were all over the place. And it took us like 75% of the show to at least get, though a vanilla promo was from the Motor City Machine Guns, it gave me what I wanted. And both promo and in ring wise, Josh Alexander MVP. Match of the night is Leo versus Kevin Knight. Moment, segment, the contract signing for the Knockouts Championship. But everything else was very ugh. So 5.5 for me.
Well, you were generous. I gave it a 4. I was I was so disillusioned with this episode. I was just because, and you're right. And in the matches were okay. There was some, like I said, the Leo and K Knight match was fantastic. The opening match was really good. It was too short, as always. But then it was like everything else just felt like day old donuts. And I'm just like, and none of the promos made any damn sense. Like, and they were all over the place. There was no common continuity. There was no common theme. There was nothing. And then you're like, I don't think it can get any worse. And then boom, it did. When we get that stupid one where literally nothing. And unfortunately, Chris Sabin, they just couldn't save it. They just couldn't. I mean, God bless them. They were really vanilla, but at least you're right. At least they gave us something. And even the whole Trinity thing just couldn't save it. It was just that because, oh my God, it was just the programming for this episode was horrendous. Horrendous. Got some great matches. My match of the night was the Leo and K Knight match. I mean, top notch. Boom. And honestly, the funny thing about that, real quick, is it kind of felt like they just put it in a throwaway spot. And I'm like, you knew this fight was going to be good. Why did you put it here? I mean, this would have actually been a really good opener match. But I'm kind of glad they didn't do that because then we would have had all this other crap in the middle. But yeah, it was weird. Yeah, Josh Alexander. Oh my goodness. Mm, mm,
Him and all his tattoos, man.
Yeah, he is yummy. And And then I love me some Deanna. I love her. Even with all of her submission moves, I love her. I love her. She's so animated, and I just love that about her. And of course, my segment of the night, of course, I will agree, was the Trinity Alicia moment, which I totally believe should have ended this episode because it was off the chain. I mean, and I'm telling you guys out there, this match between them, I think, is going to be bigger than people think it's going to be. And I think, and I know it's supposed to be like a filler match, but I think it could very possibly be the match of the event because you just set it up.
Yep. I will automatically give it 10 out of 10 if Eddie goes through a table at some point in
I
that
will
match.
too. I'll be like 10.
I don't care. 10 out of 10. Broke a table.
Yep.
Eddie's like, we're good. 10 out of 10.
Yep. And and oh my God. But I'm giving it a solid 4. I just thought it was so unorganized, so it just felt thrown together at times, and then the promos made no freaking sense whatsoever. Except for the Motor City one. But other than that,
yeah. I mean, this show was all over the place.
It was.
But, so we gave our reviews. So now what we're going to do is, like I always do with these shows, especially for the go-home shows, we're going to spend the next 10 or 15 minutes or so. We're going to run down the Victory Road card, and then we're just going to give some quick predictions, and then, we'll see what happens with it. So we have 2 matches that got announced for the pre-show. This first one, there's not really anything we can predict. So Alan Angels is going to hold an open challenge on the pre-show. And I was like, listen, more Alan Angels on my TV screen I'm never going to complain about that. But I can't really pick who's going to win this one because I don't know who the opponent's going to be. But I'm not complaining because, hi, Alan Angels, how we doing? I love him so much. And then on the pre-show, we have ABC, which is Ace Austin and Chris Bay of the Bullet Club, taking on the most professional wrestling gods, which is the team of Brian Myers and Moose. I think ABC is due for a win here because they've been kind of on the losing end of certain things within the last couple of weeks, and they also lost the tag team championships to Subculture. So I think they're due for a win, and yeah, I think that's going to be a good tag team match. Also, Chris Bay is one of my favorite wrestlers ever. I love Chris Bay.
Yeah, I'm a little torn on this one, but I mean, I can eeny meeny miny mo. It's like, I mean, I guess I could go with you on this one. I mean, I don't know a lot of the backstory on it, but I do know that I don't. Yeah, I'll go with you on that one. I will totally agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, so Team ABC is our pick, so we'll see. So now we get to the main card. So in no particular order, let's just get this one out of the way. So let's start with the Impact Digital Media Championship. So we have Kenny King defending the title against Tommy Dreamer, and this is a title versus career match. I hated the promo that Tommy gave. We talked about it in the review, and I feel like we got telecasted that Tommy's probably winning this match. I will be shocked if he loses and retires. I don't think Impact's ready for Tommy. I don't even think Tommy Dreamer's ready to retire. So I think Tommy's getting this, and it kind of hurts me because I'm like, Kenny hasn't had it that long, and his title reign has been okay at best. Like, he really hasn't had a chance to have any big feuds, but I think they're going to give it to Tommy because I really don't see him retiring if he loses at least anytime soon. I will be shocked in Impact. I would be like, good on you if Tommy loses, but I'm picking Tommy to win this one. I don't think he's retiring.
I'm gonna agree because I don't think. I mean, if this is like a title versus a career, I don't think they're going to destroy a career. I really don't. I think that. So I'm gonna go with Tommy on this one as well. I think this is going to be a redeeming match. Like, he's going to redeem himself. Because that promo was painful to watch. I mean, painful to watch. It's
Listen,
like,
I love Tommy Dreamer, but I'm like, sir, I was like, I know what I'm expecting in this match. I know Kenny's gonna carry Tommy most of this match because Kenny is still in his prime, and
you know,
Tommy, listen, I love you, but we all know, sir, we know. I'm just like, you have been doing this forever, and it kind of shows. So, eh, Tommy Dreamer is both of our picks, so we'll
yeah,
see what happens. Next match, Josh Alexander versus Steve Macklin. So this one is one of the ones I'm like, this one's torn because I know this was the program we were supposed to get before both Josh and Steve got hurt, and this was actually going to be a feud for a championship because at that time Josh had the championship, and then Steve got it after Josh got hurt, and then Steve got hurt, and then it's just been a whole mess right now. So I think that we're going to slowly build back to a feud once one of them gets the title back, when whoever that is going to be. I can't see Josh losing this first one at least. Now that they're both back from injury, I at least think Josh gets the first win, and then I think Steve is going to get the next one, which will lead into like the rubber match of a trilogy of some sort. I'm just hoping both of them can put on a good show because Macklin disappointed me this episode, and I know he could do better. And I'm excited because this was the feud that I kind of was sad that we didn't get when both of them got hurt. So now that they're both back, I don't see Josh losing this one, but I can see maybe Macklin pulling out a victory. But I'm gonna stick with my guns. I'm gonna pick Josh to win this one.
I think you're correct, but I think Josh will win this one, and it's only because of previous stuff. Like in the previous episodes, I mean, Macklin like went after Josh's injuries, and he also did it in this in tonight's main match. And I think that's going to backfire. I think that's showing us that, at least I hope, that Josh Alexander is going to be like, yeah, you can hurt me all you want, but I'm still better than you. And I agree. I think he'll pull out this one. And I kind of agree with you all as well that it might be a flip flop back and forth until we get some big hoo ha whatever. But I think this will be a Josh win. I really do.
For sure. Next on my list for the Impact World Tag Team Championships, we have the Rascals defending the championships against the Motor City Machine Guns. Now, even though we were horribly told this during the backstage promo that involved the Rascals, I don't think they're losing their titles anytime soon, as much as I would love to see a Motor City Machine Gun tag team run. But I think the Rascals retain only because I think the Good Hands are going to cause some shenanigans during the match. But this one is a no-brainer. The Rascals are going to retain. I don't see them losing their titles soon, so I'm going to go with the Rascals for this one.
I agree with you on this one as well, because now I will say that in that promo, if that's what you want to call it, that they basically did tell the Good Hands, yeah, you can come after it if we win. And I was like, okay, so we're setting up some shenanigans. So I agree with you. I think the Rascals are going to hang on to it just so that the Good Hands can have a shot at it. And, which, is fine, and I agree with you. I think it's too early for them to give up their title anyway, but I can see that. I can see some shenanigans happening and them winning by that sort of shenanigans happening.
I mean, like I said, it was poorly illustrated, but I was like, Rascals. I don't see Rascals losing it. We just won it literally 2 weeks ago. It is what it is. It's fine. So, next up in an anything goes match, which is pretty much no disqualification, Bully Ray versus PCO. Just because out of pure spite, I'm picking PCO because I want him to whoop Bully Ray's ass so bad.
Yes, and I think that here's the other thing with that. I think, and I'm going to go with you with PCO as well, because they have been setting something up for weeks now. So I can't imagine that that setup is for PCO to lose. I really can't. I think needs to be a put Bully Ray in his place and then let Bully Ray come out of his trauma somehow, and then then do a rematch against PCO because he's a much stronger man now, whatever. But I'm going with you on this one too. I think PCO. I at least that's where my heart wants it to go anyway. And again, it might be a little bit of spite in there too because I can't stand Bully Ray.
I mean, that's very, very fair. Okay, so this next one I think is going to be really, really good. This one's also kind of tough for me, but I think I made a decision. So for the Impact X Division Championship, Lio Rush will be defending the title against Kushida.
Oh.
This match is. I'm hoping this match is given time. I want them to go crazy. This one's tough because I could see arguments for having Lio keep it and then Kushida winning it. But I think Leo's gonna keep the title at least for a little bit longer because he's only really had it for less than a month at this point, and we really haven't seen him got to wrestle. Because as soon as he won it, he's been cutting promos, and it's only been the last 2 weeks that we've seen him back in the ring because he was injured, but it wasn't serious enough where he had to be stripped of it. So I think Leo's going to win this one, but I don't think Kushida's going to be done with him. So I think we're going to continue this feud, but I think Lio is winning this time around for this match.
Yeah, this one's hard too, but I think I'm going to go with Kushida. And only because I think Leo's arrogance is going to be his downfall. Now, you're right. It may not be this match, but I'm kind of hoping it is. That's why I'm going with Kushida. But I think that his arrogance is going to be his downfall. I think he's going to get too cocky, and he's going to get too safe on his laurels, and then I think someone's going to take him down. And I'm kind of hoping it's Kushida. So I'm going to go with Kushida on this one, only because I just want him to take the little shit out.
I'd love to see it. So next up for the Impact Knockouts World Tag Team Championships, I'm not gonna lie, I'll probably be drooling and need a towel for most of this. For two different reasons. So you have the Shantaraj, so Giselle Shaw and Savannah Evans, which is oh my gosh, y'all are pretty, it's crazy. And then they're taking on the champions MK Ultra, which is Masha Slamovich and Killer Kelly. And I'll go from oh my gosh, you're so pretty to hit me harder.
Yeah.
Listen. You cannot tell me that Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich Tam-T's entrance is and I use this term lovingly, so don't come after me, you guys, but it is the most lesbian thing I have seen, and I'm kind of here for it.
Oh, it is. It's total goth lesbians.
And that's why, and because, I love them so much, and, this might bite me in the ass, but I'm okay. I pick my goth lesbians to retain the titles.
Oh, I do too. I'm with you on this one. Totally, I'm totally with you on this one.
Listen, I love Giselle and Savannah Evans, but I'm Masha and Killer Kelly are going to kill you, and it's going to be great. And I'm kind of here for it.
She's called Killer Kelly for a reason.
Exactly. I love me my Russian and Brazilian girls in MK Ultra. I'm so excited. I know even the matches that are foregone conclusions, I'm excited because I know at least I'm gonna be entertained. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I agree.
So MK Ultra for this one. So I mean, for both of us. Okay, this one is really tough, and but I know this is gonna be a good match. Deonna Purrazzo versus Jordynne Grace. Child, I am not ready. I'm gonna be sweating bullets. And see, for me, because every single match these two women have had within the last year have been nothing but short of fantastic. And I'm hoping that we get a fantastic match, which I'm pretty sure we will.
Yeah, I
agree. This one's tough. But at the end of the day, because Jordan's returning from break, I think I'm going to go with Jordynne on this one. So
I think I'm going with Jordynne as well because I think that this is a dethroned match. I really do. And Jordynne's coming back. So I can't imagine. Now they might, but I'm gonna go with Jordan because I can't imagine they've been hyping her up and bringing her back just to let her lose. I really don't think that's going to be the case. I really don't.
No, but I honestly, outside of Trinity and Alicia, for me, for my women's matches, I think this is gonna rule. And to be honest, like I'm okay with whoever wins. I'm just excited for these women to fight again. It's gonna be so great. Okay, so Crazy Steve versus Black Taurus. I was just like, listen. I need the craziness. I need the shenanigans. Like this is a weird ass match that I didn't know I wanted until I got it on the card.
I was the one mom body.
Shh. I think I'm gonna go with Crazy Steve on this one because you can't build up this character and to have him lose.
I agree. I'm going with Crazy Steve as well because, and honestly, it's from his promo alone. I'm like, okay, you're crazy. You're batshit crazy. And like we said in the review, this is like two Batman villains going at each other. And I think Crazy Steve is going to pull it out. I think he's going to be crazy, like Cray Cray, like full on
Crazy,
like insane.
And in a weird way, I'm like, I'm kind of here for it.
I am. I'm super here for it. I was like, his promo was creepy cool, and I like the creepy cool characters, and you know, I mean Tarus or whatever it is, however his name is pronounced, is also kind of a creepy character too. But I think Crazy Steve's going to pull it out. I do. I think he's going to pull out every stopper he's got.
Seriously, I can't wait. I'm excited for this one. And then the match, honestly, if everything goes right with this might be tied for match of the night for me between this and the Deonna and Jordan, which I know is going to be tough consideration for the Impact Knockouts World Championship. Trinity will be defending her title against Alicia Edwards. Listen, if Eddie goes through a table, I will declare it my favorite match of the night. And I don't care if Jordan and Deonna like destroy the building in the process. Like, if Eddie goes to the table, I am biased as hell, but I don't care. That will be my match of the night.
But it has to be by Trinity's hand.
Yes, it has to be Trinity, the one either throwing Eddie through the table or her going through the table with Eddie on it. Like, she needs to be the one to
destroy him.
To destroy Eddie through a table in whatever capacity that is.
Exactly.
And again, Trinity's not losing this title. She's definitely going to retain it. That's easy. But now, because of the segment that happened tonight, I am so invested in this match, even if it's just a one-off feud for Trinity until we can get her after this to build towards her Bound for Glory opponent, whoever that is, which is going to be over the next 6 weeks or so. But man, Alicia and Eddie, like, they added so much to this one-off feud for Trinity, and I'm excited for this.
Yep. Oh yeah, me too.
I can never bet against my girl Trinity. Nope. I love her to death. And with that brings us to the end of our Victory Road predictions, and that brings us unfortunately to the end of our Table for Two review for this week. But fret not, my Biconics fans, because this weekend you can catch me and my lovely co-host Will reviewing the Impact Victory Road pay-per-view this Sunday. So you can stay tuned for that. If you like Table for Two, you can also check other Table for Two reviews as well as other long-form reviews of all the television shows. There's been a lot of wrestling the last week or so, and we covered a lot of it. So make sure to go show some love to our other hosts as well, because we all love what we do here. You can follow us all over the social medias at BC WrestlePod, where you can see when these reviews go live, as well as some thoughts and other things we talk about professional wrestling. And if you want to hear even more chaotic energy, make sure to check us out at the Biconics Wrestling Podcast, where we talk about anything and everything wrestling, and it's a good time. And it's chaotic. So if you think this is chaotic, child, you're only getting half the story. You got to go check out the podcast too because we're unhinged. It is great. But that is going to be our time here for Table for Two. So this has been Mikey. Will, it is always a pleasure to have you as well.
Of course. Love being here.
I love doing these reviews with you. But from all of us here at Table for Two, as well as the rest of the Biconics boys, until the next review, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and until next time, see you later. Thanks for tuning in. And we are out.